Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, friends of friends, and people I know personally, anybody who's listening, welcome. And I would love to share with you this fantastic mission driven life with a fantastic person. Let me tell you a little bit more about her. First of all, how did we get together? I believe everything in the universe happens for a reason, and we connected, I think, based on our very similar mission. So myself being a coach, and this particular fantastic guest of mine is also a fellow coach. She is doing an amazing work, and I would love all of you to get to know her today. So it's her time today to tell you a little bit about what she does. And I suppose our connection on why do we do the work we do. So let me tell you a little bit more about my guest today. So Marta is well known for having the ability to understand their clients in the personal and business lives and understanding the challenges. And she's using a very simple recognition system, which I'm sure she'll tell us a little bit about more later on. She guides her clients through the process of a life mission, and she uses very practical strategies that she implements, which is quite important nowadays. So as a result, her clients scale the business in alignment with the luxurious lifestyle vision. So without further ado, I would love to introduce you to Marta Duda. Hello.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Beata, and thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
Thank you so much for joining me. It is our second collaboration. A few months ago, I had the pleasure to be your guest, and we had the pleasure to speak. So it was inevitable that we will meet at some point again. So it's a great, great pleasure to have you here today. So Marta, please tell us a little bit more about yourself and how did you end up in this line of work? Because it's always very interesting for me from a personal point of view. The why, I think the why is always the one thing that's driving a lot of people's actions. So what was your why before you decided to do this line of work?
Yeah, and I think you've mentioned a very important thing straight away, and the why. So, in my understanding, it is our mission. So, my mission, my why, started in a style of Martin Luther King. So, I had a dream. And there was days when I just didn't believe in dreaming, in having a vision and mission, and it just hit at me. It was beginning of COVID, so it was about March, April time, and since about 2, 3 years that time, I was looking for my mission in life, my life purpose. So my soul was calling me, but I didn't really understand how to align with that, and I didn't know really what is it about. And then what happened beginning of the COVID, like I said, I had a dream that I'm supporting women around the world. I do remember from that dream that there were different color. They had skin color. They were black. There were yellow and red and white. So all sorts of skins and races. I do remember incredible love and peace in the air. I do remember also that this village, my dream was about, there were women and children, and it was very peaceful, quiet, such an understanding over there. And I had a dream. That's it. And then after 6 months, 6 months after, I ran my first conference for women in business. And when I was introducing that event to my public, this dream popped out, and I literally couldn't believe my eyes. So I had a dream 6 months after I was actually doing it. I ran another conference 6 months after, which was actually in March. And after those two editions, I felt that I'm doing the right thing, but there was a missing piece missing in here. So I hired a mentor and a coach, and there was incredible question she asked me. She asked me, Marta, are you ready to go global? Because the work you do locally for your community is really not supporting as many people as your mission and your soul wish to. So it was incredible, like inner work for me to be ready to speak rather than in Polish, speak in English, and just transfer myself innerly from inside out. So that was my story. And apparently 2 days ago, I was a speaker on a global conference, which actually my mission is actually unfolding in front of me as we speak.
Wow, amazing. I mean, I can totally connect with your story. That is absolutely amazing. I think having had the experience of also being obviously coming from Poland and having the experience of needing to speak in both languages, I can definitely connect to the message there about, stepping out of your comfort zone, going out there, actually doing the work. You are bilingual, you have the ability to transform more people's lives. Being able to do that in two languages, I think it's such an amazing thing. And also I think what's instrumental is to finding the right people on your path to ask you those difficult questions. I've had people like that as well.
Yeah, I think that was huge. And actually what I've noticed that we are thinking about our mission, that it will be very specific. So it will be from A to Z, and we will know what to do, and we don't then go follow it. But it's just not working that way. It's our choice to create the business upon our mission. And what I will do recommend, just get somebody who can actually see, from my experience that worked for me, a coach or a mentor or somebody who will see, you should be doing that. The world needs you. And a couple of years ago, I just, what? No, I'm not going to do it. Nobody will listen to me. So, but when the mission is bigger than you don't mind jumping on a live. You don't mind sharing your story. You don't mind really do what is driving you. The very important thing in the mission part is also that our soul wants to contribute into the world. So knowing that, we can actually create our business upon our mission, because most of the time it's just about our inner transformation, if that makes sense.
It totally does, honestly. Thank you so much. This is really interesting, what you've just talked about. I can definitely connect on so many levels, and I'm sure people who are watching us right now can connect with you on so many levels as well. The fact that you mentioned that sometimes we need help, and it's actually okay to admit that we don't have all of the answers. Sometimes having the other person's perspective, looking at you,
especially we can't see that we need some help. That is why I'm just on the conference, and there was a very important question from the host. He asked me, okay, Marta, one thing we have to do, just the one thing, to just not stay on your own. You are not alone. And I felt that way when I was starting. But it's so crucial that when we are actually in the situation of burnout, when we are just hitting our wall, and the wall could be a burnout, could be even depression. It's definitely huge frustration inside. So we don't know who we are. We don't know our gifts, our talents. It's something we don't have to really finish a university. We don't have to graduate from anything to actually align with those gifts and talents. So education it really is not helping at all. Furthermore, it's just giving that additional work for our mind. And apparently, we would like to detach from that, um, going more into our heart, into our intuition, going in rather than out. So whatever your wall is made out of, believe me, and I thought for many years that I'm just on my own with my problems. Nobody is really understanding. If I will say anything, nobody will relate to that. And how wrong I was when when I was speaking on one of the mastermind in front of only 20 ladies, and three of them related to my story, which was incredible because they thought exactly the same thing. They thought, well, we are so similar. And so going back to this conference, and the most important thing I've learned, you are not on your own. Just reach out. Most of the time, there will be a huge breakthrough when you will speak with somebody who is helping as like a coach or a mentor, somebody who went through that journey of a breakout, burnout. So that's huge. So what your wall is made of.
Fantastic. I think I'm going to write that down. What is your wall made of? I think that's fantastic, and it's a big part of the process of coming out of a comfort zone, especially if you are going through something. But for those of you, thank you, Marta. For those of you who are just joining us, we do understand that it's probably early in the morning or late in the afternoon or evening for some of you, depending on where you are. Just wanted to remind you about what we're talking about today quickly. Today's subject is mission-driven business. And my beautiful guest, Marta Duda, is talking to me today about just that and what it takes to create a mission-driven business. And that really takes me to the next question. You've talked a little bit about your why and how it all started for you, which is quite beautiful for you to share with us the part of the journey and how you thought you were alone, but actually understood that there's people out there like you who share your vision and who can support you, people who are your tribe, who will push you and say, Marta, you can do more. Come out of that comfort zone. And it's fantastic. I've had those experiences as well. People who were instrumental in my development who said, come on, you got to do it. It's the best thing forward for me personally.
Yeah, and I think I do remember that you've mentioned that when we had a live together in my community, you said that one of your mentors told you that you will be great public speaker, and you just like, oh, really? So the other person saw that incredible gift and talent in you, which is amazing. Your story is also amazing, really.
Thank you.
So how important that is.
Thank you so much for reminding me that. Actually, I forgot I've mentioned it, but it was indeed somebody else saw something in me I didn't yet see in myself. And I think in my work, and I'm sure it's in your work as well, when you speak to your clients, I see this all the time. I already see this, diamond in the rough, this other person that is out there, in that person that's speaking to me, and they just don't see it yet. They don't believe it in themselves enough. And it's really about just saying something, or, holding their space for them. For them to see it as well. So at the time, there's no way I was going to do any public speaking. I have done a little bit of it, but never on that scale. And all of a sudden, I'm being told, let's go and do it on a regular basis and practice a lot. That was definitely instrumental. I just became very comfortable with being uncomfortable, being visible.
But you will definitely agree with me that the public speaking is just a skill. We can learn to overcome that. There will be all the time butterflies in our tummy because it's so important to share. So it's the excitement, but it's just a skill, and the speaking, the communication is so important those days, especially when we've got that mission in our heart.
Yes. And you know what I understood is actually for me personally, it wasn't just about public speaking. For me, I understood it was about being seen.
Oh,
I
wow.
think the fear
Yeah.
of public speaking
Okay.
comes from the fear of being seen. I think a lot of us like to be comfortable in our little worlds, and it's actually the thought of going out there and being visible to people just the way you are, with your good sides and your flaws and whatever. We all have our, beautiful sides, and we have skills, but we also have things that hold us back. But it's actually being able to let yourself, others see that part of you. That was powerful for me. So I understood it was
Yeah.
never about public speaking. I'm comfortable talking, a great talk. I can talk for hours. But it was about being
Yeah.
very, very honestly, in a very honest, raw way seen. So I think
Yeah,
it's
and
fundamental.
that's so important you just said, because what I've noticed that when actually we are creating our businesses, doing our businesses, it's really not about the business. Most of the time, it's about us. It's about, so there is nobody doing the business our way, and it's a bizarre really, because we are thinking that copying somebody, looking into somebody's work, will change our business, will scale it, will grow it, will be more prosperous and profitable. We might copy some of the strategies, but it's just so individual perspective. So basing, because we all got the mission completely different,
Yes,
and the way
absolutely.
to achieve it, that is why our business will be different. I can share my example. When I thought that couple of years ago, I thought I will be blogger. I will be doing at least once a week. But from I've done one, I think one only. And I said, no way, I'm not going to do it. So that time I was advised to do the blogging. It was very popular. But going deeper into my intuition and going deeper to know myself, I've noticed that I'm just great in speaking without preparation, which is also huge transformation
Mm,
for me. Because whatever I've got deep in my heart, that will come out just on the spot.
yes.
So being not prepared is even better for me.
Absolutely. The greatest stories come out
Can you
from my
relate to that?
experience. I can totally. I remember being told you have to do a 3-minute speech about those four
Yeah.
symbols. So we were showed,
Hmm.
symbols that we had to create a story about: an orange, a banana, a mountain, and a sun. And you had to create a story. I've never done that before, but I actually felt
Yeah.
like a
Great.
cool kid being at school, needing to
Yeah.
create some sort of story out of nothing. And actually, the more I did it, I enjoyed it more because it was just flowing. It was something that was me. It was,
Yeah, you've
original.
actually allowed
Yes,
yourself to go into that creativity, imagination,
yes.
and I think that's huge. So I've changed the blog, and I will be starting a podcast this year, because the speaking, rather
Mm,
than writing, is more aligned with my intuition.
fantastic.
So
Congratulations on that. Tell us all about it. What is it
yeah,
called and when can we find it?
there is announcement already on a website. I'm just like
Fantastic.
in the middle of growing the list of the lovely people who will be
Mhm.
sharing the wisdom and knowledge. And I hope we can get also this conversation at one of the podcasts, because um, that will be amazing. So once again, knowing my mission, knowing that my
Mm,
intuition is actually out of body based, which is I have to speak and then listen to whatever I said. So it's
yes.
just like a sounding board, more of the thing, which is quite rare. Um, so knowing myself, knowing my mission is helping create my business on the safe side for me. So I'm a blogger anyway. um, uh, But what I can do, I can video blog. So that will be better solution for me, or for my body, for my alignment, for my mission. And some of the people don't like video, and do understand that. Maybe your mission is writing. Maybe you've got like one sentence to be shared. You are not really talker or speaker or video maker, but you are not talking. Maybe you are the person who is not speaking at all. But when you say something, it's just huge. Maybe Twitter will be good for you. So aligning with our mission is just, as you can see, it's just huge. It's influencing our mission, our business, and building our business in aligned with ourselves. It's completely reducing procrastination because we want to do it. It's because we want to do it.
It really does. It does really take me to the next question. I was just going to ask you, like, from your experience. So you've talked a little bit about, how you became passionate about the subject. So I can totally feel within my heart that you are so passionate about the work you do, and it's so important. That's why it comes out in a very natural, powerful way. And I congratulate you on your podcast series. I really hope they are a success. Can you tell us a little bit about what sort of dilemmas and challenges business owners you work with tend to have nowadays? What are the
Right.
I suppose the problems or the nitty-gritty things that they struggle with?
Right. Yeah, we've mentioned already a couple. So I believe the huge one is very simple. So we are thinking that doing little courses or getting a free content is very, because I was there as well. So going into that field and the world of information and just taking the bits will help support us. So as entrepreneurs, I saw that was really draining me. That's drained me because I was actually dividing myself into things. I hoped it will help me. Don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong with the freebies or courses, but not knowing our mission and when we are going, only distracting us. So when we know where we are going, we can then decide, okay, I need to clarify my message. I need to build my storytelling. I need to do blah, blah, blah. So then I'm going into, and I'm not just looking for the right person for me, who is resonating with me. So I'm finding somebody who will actually clarify my message. That was my huge problem at the beginning, because translating the personal development into business language was a bit of a struggle. So somebody helped me and guide me what's the most important thing for me I should share in my message to help others. And that is the marketing also part of it. So know the people you are sharing your message with and your story, because not everybody will be resonating what you are saying. So for example, a bit of my story. So somebody who is not visionary, most of the time it's not a lady. So they are not really going into that imaginative part of it. They are doing very logic business, but apparently when you are doing business and it's not mission based, not value based, after so many years, and I'm working with those people, they are just burning out. So their wall is made out of not having a mission in business, because they are relying on others helping them. There is no mission, actually no vision, which is just fundamental. So the vision is just fundamental. It's just like a root for a business, and we can then delegate or ask others to help us to grow that business, because we don't have to have employees, but we can actually have a subcontractor. So hire somebody who will help us develop that mission, accounting, delegating,
Yes.
VA assistant. So
So you
Steve
don't have
Jobs,
to do the things that you
yeah,
don't
Steve
like to
Jobs is
do.
showing us
Yeah.
that although he built a huge company, um, so there was some days that when he wasn't the CEO because it wasn't his actually part of that company.
Yes.
He was depleted. So how important that is, because he actually jumped into his mission. So I wish you that to have such a huge company and find this peace in your company to do the best. I know the lady when she's got a cleaning company, and although she's planning to open a third company now, she don't mind go and clean because that's her mission. That was at the
That's her mission.
beginning.
Yeah.
She's energy. She's cleaning the properties, but she's got a mission in it. It's energetic, really healing of the properties, which is just huge. So that's her mission. So how important that is, and I think um, that's so important. So
That is.
if we don't know that, then we are most of the time just being fake.
And we're going
Yeah,
slightly blind, and we're not quite sure which direction to
that's
take
right. Yeah,
because we are
yeah,
not
yeah.
aligned, like you mentioned. I was
Yeah,
just
and
going to ask you,
the burnout. So we are
yes, the
actually adding
burnout
another
comes out.
brick to this wall.
Yes, yes, and then we think what's gone wrong. But it's really interesting what you mentioned
Yeah.
about, a mission-driven business makes people just enjoy every task they've got because it's their business, they're passionate
Mhm.
about it. But what happens, for example, when you have a client who comes to you? So I'm going to give an example on
Mm.
jobs. So I've spent years in corporate jobs, and not
Yes.
all of them were, fulfilling me in any way. I
Mm.
just did the job. Does it happen that you have a client who comes in and says, listen, I've built this business and it's actually quite successful, but it's not what I want to do? Like, what do you do then?
Mm.
Like, how do you direct your client to make something out of it? In a sense, do you tell them, okay, you need to rethink things and you have to drop this and think about what you want to do with this? Or do you carry on with what you're already doing and
Yeah.
make it the best you can, but
Mm.
with a touch of soul in it? What do you do then when somebody, it's almost like I'm
Yeah.
in the wrong job. What do I do with jobs?
Yeah.
I just go and get another. When you already build a business, that's not quite the same. But I understand you can always change the direction. But what's your sort of take on it? I'm
Mm.
really interested.
Right. So I am actually example
Mm,
of what you've just shared, and I'm still an architect and property investor. That is a business. That is my side business.
mm,
But my mission actually was created from those two, let's say, work careers. So I was actually advising investors. I was in consulting business then. But what happened, I've noticed that only choosing a strategy for them, the right strategy for them, or choosing, looking for funds to invest in a property, it's not really fixing the problem. The problem was really deeper than that. They were looking for a true meaning of what they're doing. Example, if somebody doesn't have enough money to invest, for example, in London, they have to just decide, are they going to move north, or are they going to share the property in London with somebody, which is actually inner work. Am I willing to move? And I want to stay. Um, but if you know your mission, for example, I had a lady who said, no, I'm thinking of buying property, but I think I would like to buy something on the north. But very important what she said. We've noticed that she needs a connection with the property. That's
mm,
it. So you need to have a property when you live. It's so you won't be good with having, for example, an online business.
mm.
So I think that's huge. If you've got that thing, and I've got that as well, I have to touch it. So that was huge for me. So knowing that, you will choose the business which is actually physical business, and that needs to be on your side, not somewhere online or like this lady on North. And it doesn't have to be. So that was my story. So I've moved. I've at the moment I'm not really communicating the properties and my architectural work. Um, but if somebody knows me, I'm still doing it, right, for the right people. Um, but then yesterday I had a lady. So once again, the mission doesn't have to be really complicated. She's a hard-based entrepreneur. She's doing huge things, lots of things at once. So she's multitasking really in her entrepreneur journey. But what we discussed yesterday, she said, Marta, I'm doing great, okay, but there is such a hole in my heart, and she was crying. And most of the time, is a very emotional part in our conversation, because we are successful, we've got the money, but there is a deep hole in our heart, and sooner or later it will come. It will come. So, what finishing the story? And when I ask her, so is there something in your heart calling you? Maybe you've got like I had a dream, so I still see this village with those women from around the world, and her picture. She told me, it's not really huge. So she shared with me. So she's sitting, if you can imagine, by the seaside. Maybe it is an ocean. She's sitting on a wood chair. She can see the wave and the sound, and she is writing a book. Maybe she's translating the book, and it's just lovely sitting there. She's on her own. She doesn't have a partner, and that's it. That was her vision. So I'm helping her to actually base her life and business around that mission. Sometimes we just have to dig a bit deeper to find out what the mission is, using those systems you've mentioned at the beginning. But she already knew that. She already knew that. So as you can see, although being prosperous, that will come back as a boomerang. Really.
Yeah, totally. Something that needs to be addressed, and until you actually do that,
yeah, and we feel that.
Yeah,
we feel
yeah,
that there is something. We are not really happy going to work. And it doesn't have to be a business. Business. We could be also as an employees. So finding the right company for us, it's also huge when we can actually utilize our gifts and talents, and we don't have to be entrepreneurs. Really, it's about this. If we can actually now relate with our mission, with our employer, that's here you go. You can change the company you're working for, which is also amazing. Yeah.
It's actually about having the courage to speak out and say, this is what I think, we should be doing direction-wise. This is where I can utilize my skills.
It's whatever Simon Sinek is doing. Yeah, you've mentioned the why at the beginning. So he's helping leaders and corporation-based, which is to make those places a bit more human.
Yes, rather than trying to fit a person into a job, actually finding the best, the skills and the strong points of the person, to utilize it, to fit it into the job. And that way, organizations become more successful because the employees are happy, they do what they're really passionate about. And I think the corporate world has been like that for years. I know, at least from my experience, you get a job description, you're supposed to do the job, but actually, what does that mean, to do their job? Like, how do you go out there and motivate yourself as an employee or business owner to do the job unless there is passion behind it, or unless there's actually some soul and heart behind it? Because I know from experience, if there's something that I don't like doing, I'm going to do anything else not to do that one thing. It's
Yeah.
just a human nature and it's a human psychology. And really understanding that is, I think, a key in, having conversations, honest conversations. So thank you so much for sharing that story. That's really, really powerful what you just said. And another question for you. So what would, whether you had an experience or not, but what would you say to somebody who, for example, is not a business owner at all yet,
Mm.
is thinking about maybe transitioning from either having a job or already thinking about creating a business? You mentioned about finding a mission, that the first step in your sort of process of working with your client would be finding the mission. How do you find the mission when somebody's not even quite sure yet whether actually having a business is something for them? What would you say to that person and how would you approach it?
Once again, we don't really need this based, we don't have to move into entrepreneurship. We don't really have to move into business. We really don't need that. If we are happy, when as an employee, because the job is actually fulfilling our heart's desire, that's cool. The world needs those kind of people. So I will actually say two ways. So if you don't want to open your business, if you don't want to be entrepreneur, stay where, be employee as an employee, but to not hit the wall, which is burnout.
Yeah.
Finding something which is in alignment in yourself, like you've mentioned, Beata. So talk with the employer, and I think it's a huge thing in here to know who you are and what are your gifts and talents. You will then easier utilize your skills, corporation based. So I will start from this inner work, because at the moment, what I've noticed, we are applying for a job, thinking that employer will resolve our problems, and so the gifts and talents in us. It's not working that way. We've noticed that we are just changing the job, and just because we're starting to be really disappointed, and we don't like to go there anymore. But it's up to us to change the work or fulfill ourselves in that work, because we can't expect that from the employer. And it's the same with creating a business. If we've got that huge desire, first of all, if we are employees, I will start to do something, I will say, on the side. So don't give up your job or work straight away. If you've got that entrepreneurship spirit in your heart, start to do it on the side. And unless you've got enough money to survive, for example, for 6 months or 12 months to do entrepreneurship and start to earn money from it. But it's again, are you a person who is an employee from your heart, or are you entrepreneur? So that's a huge decision to make. Not everybody are made as entrepreneurs, and apparently that could be our war as well, because we are looking into somebody's success. They are entrepreneur, they are not employees, and we want to do exactly the same, and it's just not working for us. So I will definitely look into it. But once again, it's going from our mission, life purpose, who we are, what we want to do, what we are here to do. And the last bit, I think that will be a business. Although you've asked of opening a business, sometimes, and I'm working with those people as well, when they are successful in their business, as I mentioned, my friend example, so she's got 2 companies already, but she will be opening the 3rd one. So that could be also a place of the wall and the burnout, because they might be looking for another options. They are bored in those 2 first businesses. But sometimes they are selling the first business and they are for a good money, and they are opening the mission-based business. So that could be as well. But anyway, for all of those three examples, if you are looking to change, to transit, that it's something calling you from inside. And I will share also maybe completely different perspective according to the transition. Had a chat with a lady who is selling products. So there is her face on her products, but she's not really communicating, connecting with the clients and with the public through the video, like we are doing that today. So there is only pictures and sometimes posts. So she's sharing only the marketing product based. But when we've looked into her mission, she's a teacher. She should be really, and she's got that in her heart. She was crying because she said, I never told that to anybody, but yeah, I've got that. I've got that something inside of me who wants to share my journey, and so that will be her going out of her probably comfort zone and going to completely different, maybe even coaching business, or opening an addition part of her business, which is learning others how to whatever she is doing. So that could be a different approach. I hope I answer your question because there was a couple of things in that, but I started to share employee, entrepreneur, and business owners, right?
Yeah, thank you so much. That was definitely what I was after, because I'm sure you come across like different scenarios, like I mentioned.
Yes.
I think the reason I mentioned that would be a different story for somebody who's already a business owner to kind of find that passion in their mission, but it's different for like you mentioned, people who are maybe in different life situations. But from my experience, if I may share, more and more people since last year, since the beginning of the pandemic, I find more and more people come, at least my way, and they really want to step up and do something different. And there's more and more sort of people with the courage to say, oh, I'm done. Like I've done this job for so long. I want to do something else. And a lot of people with really interesting business ideas as well. And that's really, for me, it's I light up when I hear people, talk about like, I want to do this, and they have a pretty good idea of what they want that business to be as well. And I just think, just wow, like what it's taken for a lot of those people, a lot of frustration, loneliness, sleepless nights, and being separated from the loved ones. And a lot of those processes that happened, I think, last year, are now kind of coming out. Like there's more and more people from,
because apparently we can't be sure that we will be still unemployed tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So
100%.
I think
So nothing's certain.
So that is why it's not a time when, for example, like my mom was 40 years employed by one company. So it's not happening those days.
Yes.
So I think that having, see that perspective, it's so huge. And we've got, and there is so many people having that inner drive to help others on very unique perspective. And, I've got a 17-year-old son. And, the career the school is teaching him, I don't think that will be relevant in a couple of years. When I was on university, or even, 5, maybe 6 years ago, nobody said about virtual assistants or somebody who is doing the social media for you. It wasn't there. So that is why I believe having a mission, it won't be so straightforward, and that could be a struggle as well, because we would like to know what that is, but to be more tangible, but see that. But I think that is the huge one, and having somebody who maybe a copywriter who knows the words, know our audience, how to create that message for us. We are singing and dancing, sharing our message, but somebody who's really helping to shape what we are about. And the last bit, and that's also huge, it's not a fix which is implemented straight away, and we will know tomorrow what to do, because it's up to us what we are going to commit to do and shine. We've mentioned that is just in a process. So for me, it's 2 years now, and I don't think there is a day when I'm not thinking about, yeah, I'm doing that. Wow, it's just I have to change that. So I'm changing the wording in my mission, the wording in my pitch, the wording in my story, and it's just every day. It's just such a fulfillment. So guys, it is a journey, but it's incredible. It's incredible because it's you are thinking about what you do, not like sort of orders. You don't have to go on a course to find your mission, and so fulfilling. And this unique selling point, which everybody are just shouting about, is just right on front of your eyes when you look into the mirror. Um, and that's huge.
That's huge, and that's amazing that, we've got people like you who can help others find that. If they don't know how to find that, if they don't
Yeah.
know how to look in that outer mirror and just find out what that mission for them is. Question for you, Marta, just before we finish today's live. You talk so beautifully and passionately about, your business and how you love helping your clients and the difficulties, the advantages and disadvantages of, wanting to be a business owner and how you can help them. What is your mission 10 years from now? Where do you see
Oh,
yourself
wow.
into the future? I say that on purpose because I imagined two of us speaking again, in 10 years' time, and I will ask you the question again,
Yeah.
where are you right now? But right now I'm asking, where do you see yourself from 10 years, 10 years from now, with your mission growing, getting stronger, getting more aligned? The stage is yours.
I've actually thought about it. I had an exercise last week or 2 weeks ago, and I was just amazed from whatever I said. So I've arranged for myself a guided meditation, um, and the picture I saw there, I was on a huge house with 12 of women, and we all been on my conference. It was somewhere like, let's say, it was like a Spain or Greece, somewhere where it's really hot and nice. So the conference was about supporting women in business, and there were people around the world, and I do remember we were just doing the philanthropy mission-based business. So I had like my inner circle of people who are changing the world and spreading the world out, and pulling those people by the ears to and say that you are doing the right thing. So yeah, I can see that picture, and it's just incredible feeling because my mission is just global based. so so sharing that, doing conferences. My mission is all about explaining my inner wisdom, and sometimes it could be weird. Maybe it's weird for you from what I say, but it is also a courage, the inner courage to share that with others, and that is my mission as a human. And from this picture in my head, I can see. So this message is particularly to women in business.
Wow, just fantastic. Marta, what else can you tell us if we were, stuck in the middle of crossroads. We are thinking about which one of them should we listen to more, and that's a bit of a controversial subject. Our head and our heart. How do we know? How can we recognize from your point of view, from point of your mission? And you've just outlined a beautiful mission for yourself, philanthropy, and living with it. I totally see you doing that. I can see you already doing that. So that's really beautiful and powerful. If you're going to give an advice, heart and head, in a society, we live in a society where we are being told every single day, bombarded with information, bombarded with facts, to run our life on autopilot and think with our head.
Yeah.
How do we connect when we're running a business owners? How do we connect our head with our heart so that our mission is a heart-centered mission? It's really connected to our heart. You mentioned meditation. I'm not sure whether that's something that you do.
I mentioned to you that I was on a 3-day conference, and there was an incredible gentleman sharing a story yesterday, and the thing he said, it was just went into my mind. He said that actually a mind, it's just like a skill. It's not doing anything. It's just there. And what I felt before the workshop with him, I feel that the mind is like a resources tool. Nobody's seen the mind before, so that is why it is more like a skill rather than something we should be relying on. And I think that's a huge perspective. So it's helping us to see the choices, but our heart and our body is the decision maker based on the mind resources. So most of the time, it's good for us to sleep with the idea. I used to make decisions very spontaneous on a spot, but it didn't serve me at all, because most of us, so when we've got this first sparkle, first idea, and what I've noticed, this sparkle and this idea, most of the time showing us the way which is more comfortable for us. It's going from subconscious mind, and it's showing us a way which we've experienced before. So that is mind, right? But heart will show us where we should go, and it's not comfortable. Most of the time, when I saw my mission, and I just, what? I will be supporting women around the world, and doing the stuff in my community is too small. I was like, no way I'm doing that. It was just, and moving from being a property investor and architect to what? To supporting women around the world and helping them in business. It's just.
Was there a massive shift for you?
It was just like, so my mind being education-based, property-based, but my heart was just completely different. It was just, I'm still in all of that at the same time, but it's on top, which is fulfilling me, right? But it came from architecture, and property investing. So the combining to marry a heart
to marry the two
with, it's so huge. But let's be honest, the heart is the driver. Okay, our mind is only a passenger. If we can imagine a car, okay, so our heart is driving the car and the mind is the passenger. But most of the time, the passenger wants to just grab the wheel.
Yes.
And let's be honest, most of the time, we are also allowing to do it. And that's the autopilot, as we've mentioned.
Yeah.
The heart is not screaming. It's not screaming. It will be repeating itself very gently to you. Come on, let's go. Let's have fun. A mind will rationalize that. Don't do it. Why do you need that? It's just it's it's the resources which is actually showing us. Let's do that way, or maybe check this one out. Right? Don't listen to it. And that is the mind and the heart, the devil and the angel. But let's be honest, this rat wheel you mentioned already, it's just from the mind perspective. It's also the matrix. You can call it that way. And in Buddhism, we are actually, it's a Maya. It's also an illusion when we are going so deep. That's the proper name for it. And the nirvana is samadhi, which is something to be like an observer. And having that mission is very unique, and we can just rest as a passenger because the world is unfolding the why, the how to. So if we've got the why and the what, and be the passenger. So let the mind be a passenger and let the heart drive. It's incredible, and it's very hard also for us to do when we are driven by the mind. It's just surrender and trust that that vision, that mission, that heart desire. And what I've noticed as well, the mind, when we actually allow the mind to not make the decision, there is such a peace there. It's just incredible. I hope that makes sense for you guys who listen to that.
Well, it certainly made sense to me. You really said it in a beautiful, beautiful way, all about the connecting the two. But what I was going to say to add to that is that I think the difficulty that you were talking about is also to do with the fact that we are all wearing different hats. And we are so used to being the mother, the sister, the best friend. And I think all those roles, especially for us women, whether it's in business or everyday life, they're confusing us in a sense that, we sometimes, switch between the two so quickly that we forget how to just be, how to be us. Yeah. And I think I find that very often with my clients, there is this disconnect with,
that is Beata, that is huge what you've just said, because I've mentioned that on a conference that the people who are rich, prosperous, who's got plenty of businesses, they are just surrendering themselves more often than we used to. And the reason being, we are just taking the hats you've just mentioned, setting that on the side, and we are going behind whatever is happening in our life, and we are resting with our souls, with ourselves. And I think that's huge. Not losing the connection with the heart. Go for it. Just do whatever you want. But the restlessness, the burnout, is just when there is. It's breaking the connection, because apparently the imagination is showing us the steps we should be taking when we are actually behind that scene, behind that mind. Maybe it's not really popular statement, but we've been there, Berta. We've been there, and at the moment, I'm not going to share saying, you have to do that, blah. Just one thing. I think we should be spending just more time being us and with us, because there is huge potential over there. There are so fantastic ideas. I will wrap up today's conversation with this, I think, huge statement.
That is beautiful, and that is a huge statement. And this is probably one of the things that kind of got me into this line of work as well. I've experienced the burnout.
The
I've
power.
experienced what it's like, and it's really given me
Mm.
more, passion to help others. So thank you so much, Marta. We've literally just got a couple of minutes left, but I just wanted to say big thank you from myself and everybody who's been watching today, whether you've managed to catch part or all of today's live. I thank you so much for your for being with us, for listening. This interview will be available on replay. I'll share it for you to see it again if you didn't manage to watch it. Marta, it was a beautiful, amazing pleasure to have you today. Really powerful, beautiful conversations. Marta, for those of you who haven't watched the beginning of it, is a business coach, and she helps women to create a mission-driven businesses and lives. Thank you so much, Marta.
Thank you for having me. And I can only say once again, thank you, Beata, for having me, because we are so incredible what we are doing both. And I've got a gift for your audience. So if somebody wants to dig the subject even deeper, I will be doing a masterclass on Monday, the 22nd of November at 8 p.m. UK time. I will drop the link underneath the live. And I will hope you see you there to discover your mission for your business.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. I will recommend you to take advantage of this offer. And thank you again, Marta. I hope we meet again.
Yes.
That was beautiful and powerful. We've learned so much from you today. So see you next again, hopefully on the next live, everybody. And yeah, have a lovely, lovely day. Thank you so much again, Marta.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.